beyond the engine is the little details. It's one of my favorite parts about any project car is walking around it and trying to find the stuff that other people don't notice. And I've always wanted to do a build to this extent and do like these little tiny touches, and I finally get to do it. So while we're getting the bay painted and shaved, we're going to do a few other things while the paint gun is out. One, we're not running a rear valance in the back, so we're going to do whatever we can to clean up the view back here. We're going to shave these holes. There's a little bit of rust that we're going to fix. We're going to cut the spare tire well out because one, it looks like a dog's balls, and two, we're going to run a center exit exhaust like a BMW 2002 or an E28. I think that's such a cool look that BMW decided to do. They didn't do it on the E30, but we're going to do. Also, I have I've also been collecting parts for this thing. One of those parts is this heck blend, which blends the heck out of the rear. It fits in between these rear tail lights and just makes it look like one big piece. Chris had a really cool idea to, we don't like how it dips down in the back like that, so we're going to cut right here and then fill this hole. It'll be reminiscent of a BMW E21, which is the predecessor to the E30. We're going to go with the spoilerless trunk lid for an even cleaner look. Pull the fenders out a little bit to fit more tire under there because we're going to have a lot more horsepower. We're going to go back to chrome trim, which originally came with this car. A lot of this is like reverting this car back to original because through 40 almost years of modification, people tend to update stuff. So chrome trim here, chrome trim here. We're gonna get new side skirts, one piece for the earlier cars, whereas these are two piece. Dead giveaway, comes from a later car. Oh yeah, and then new mirrors to mimic the look of the pre-M3 Group A cars. So yeah, all the little tiny stuff that really like the car and you see it like at a Cars and Coffee or something, you'll notice, or it'll just be like really fun for me to like point out to Magnus Walker next time I'm in the same place as him.
All right, so as you all know or will find out, we are gonna be doing what originally started as an S54 swap simply for James E30. If you don't know James, he's one of the main guys over at Donut Media. I'm sure you guys have seen his YouTubes and all the videos they shoot. Well, I've been blessed enough to be able to not only do the engine swap, but we're actually gonna be doing a lot more than that now. So we're gonna rip out the drivetrain, get it ready to take it over to the body shop to have my brother semi-shave the bay, paint it, make it all pretty, dress it up. And last time it was here, we did a bumper conversion on it. And he bought us a bunch of parts, this and that. We installed it. Well, I'm gonna take everything back off. The rear for those of you who don't know, early models in the US did not come with Euro bumpers, which are the small chrome bumpers. They came with the big aluminum bumpers. So when you do the bumper conversions and you don't run a rear valence, we have the big bumper shock holes in the back versus Euro cars do not. So I'm gonna be shaving all of that. We're gonna be doing some one-off tail light license plate area modifications for them, which I think is gonna look really cool. Pretty excited on being able to do that because I've always wanted to build an early model with Euro bumpers, so I get to experiment on James's car. So once the engine is dumped out of it, we're gonna strip the bay. I'm most likely gonna put the front end on a dolly so that we don't have to deal with the subframe and the spindles and none of that stuff. Plus the whole front end's gonna be off. Then, like I said, goes over to the body shop, and then we're also gonna be doing a bunch of other stuff. We're gonna be doing a 5-lug conversion, swapping out the KWs for ground control, and ground control is actually supplying everything for the swap. So anybody who's interested in buying a full 5-lug conversion from ground control, you're gonna see firsthand what it consists of, what it takes to do, and I can go over pricing and all that with you guys. So let's get to it. All right, we're at the body shop. James's car is here. And of course, if you work on E30s, you know, sometimes things are never easy, or most of the time. So after removing the pad, we noticed that the damn firewall's all rusted, super common, which isn't a big deal, but it is a big deal for us at the moment because we have a bit of a deadline with this car that we're gonna meet, but it just adds a little bit more work. So I removed the pad, and like I said, it's super common, especially on the older chassis cars, like the early models. The pad, you know, it's supposed to protect, but it actually holds moisture and it ends up rusting away. So we have a hole here. And this isn't a problem because it can be repaired. The problem is that the car is fully assembled. The full interior, it was literally an engine bay job, some rear end work. But now it turned into, we're gonna rip out the interior, take out the HVAC, take out the wiper motor, take out the dashboard, windshield, all of that. So this just goes to show that sometimes, as much as we want to keep things simple and make sure things get done, you know, there's always setbacks. And usually setbacks aren't a problem unless you have deadlines or an impatient customer, things of that matter. So we're gonna rip out the interior, do all of that, repair the firewall here. There's a hole down here. Fix all of this. The frame rail's a little rusty there. Shave off all the brackets. Pull the front fenders. We also noticed that when we would work on this car, we noticed that the motor always sat a little close to the radiator support. Well, after we took it all apart, we noticed that the radiator support is actually damaged. So we're gonna be replacing the radiator support, and you know, it's not terrible, but by the time I'm done straightening all of this, getting it where it needs to be, it's not gonna be where I would like it to be. So it's easier for me to say, screw it, cut the radiator support out, replace it with a new one, In this case, a good used one, because I definitely don't have an OEM unit in stock, and I probably won't get it in time, because it is easier to work with new parts, even though, like I said before, working with good used units is always my preference, because it's just built different. So we're gonna repair the radiator support. Also, this headlight never sat perfect, and as you can see here, car was in a little fender bender before. The inner structure's not damaged, but the bracket's super screwed up. So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna remove both fenders now, mainly to fix that corner. And also somebody had I'm assuming at one point this car got lowered, fenders won't roll, so it fucked up the fenders. And now his paint's chipping here. So we're gonna fix this, because besides the fenders, the rest of the car is pretty damn clean. So we're gonna just touch up both front fenders. We're gonna do a wingless trunk. And then, as you saw previously, the car got converted to Euro bumpers. So we're gonna be shaving off all the US holes, leaving all the holes that we need, removing the brackets, covering a bunch of holes that somebody previously drilled. We're gonna be doing something a little different, a little trick here with the license plate area, which you'll see. We are also gonna be removing the spare tire well, because James and I were talking and we started sharing ideas, and we kind of have a little vision for this car that's gonna be pretty cool. I'm also gonna be removing the tow hook and retrofitting a different style newer thread-on piece to give it that really clean look. So, like I said, besides the other setbacks, everything else should go pretty smooth. check. I found some after the fact in a bag. We were missing one, and I found some afterwards.
Yeah, I had 3 here.
No, not the bolts.
Oh.
The water pipe seals. The metal ones.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right.
That's 3.
All right. So we have James S54 here, which was supposed to be just a standard S54 swap turned into a sort of a full build because we were able to get a set of pistons for him. Adam went ahead and went through everything. He already has a crank in there, rods, pistons, all new timing components. We're using stock rods. He's not going for boost or crazy high horsepower. We are putting a set of cams in here. So it kind of turned into like I want to say OEM plus NA build, because obviously it's not going to be a full crazy high horsepower NA build. But here it is in all its glory. These are Molly power pack pistons, slightly higher compression than stock. The head is pretty much all stock besides, valve job, seals, guides, and obviously it's gonna get a set of Shriek cams with all new followers and all that good stuff. When people build these things, they're like, oh, how much power do you expect to make? I'm sure this car's gonna make between 330 and 340 horsepower. I don't expect more than that because sometimes these motors are hit or miss, but it could make more. And most of the time they do, I just don't like to get the customer's hopes up. But right now, Adam's gonna finish up putting on the head and start bolting on the rest of the accessories to get this sucker in the car.
James. I'm Chris's best friend, practically brother. And this week we're hanging out at Castro Motorsport, working on my E30. We're making a video for my channel and just having a good time, hanging out with the homies and building a car I've been dreaming about since I was a wee little lad. This is my 1987 325 IS. It had an S52 motor in it when I bought it. Chris actually built this car like 13 years ago, so it's kind of fun to see him dig in and be upset about how he used to do things, because obviously you learn a lot in 13 years. So we ripped out that motor, which is the motor a lot of people say is the perfect engine for this chassis. We ripped that out and we're gonna replace it with this S54 over here with high compression pistons, big old cams, brand new vanos, a bunch of just new stuff, a ton of stuff that ECS sent us. They really hooked us up and are really treating us well on this build. So shouts to ECS and all the homies over there. This would literally not have happened without them. We put together a budget. I handed it to my boss and he was like, okay, you can't do that. And I was like, all right, but what if we get sponsored? And then we did. So they sent us a whole bunch of this stuff. Not this. This is from AZA Auto Wheel. This is like the one thing on my car that I get comments on the most. So AZA Auto Wheel on Instagram. Very cool. Carbon fiber. And it's a real M-Tech one wheel, and then they made it 350 millimeters. So very sick. Yeah, so we're doing a lot of prep work to the chassis for the past few days. Last week, CB collision. Shaved the bay, painted it. Got all the undercoat sprayed. Yesterday we finally started bolting on parts that move, like fun parts. So we got the Z3 rack, ground control, sent us some really nice coilovers. I've had a lot of sets of coilovers on a lot of different cars, and I don't think I knew how nice they could be until we put these on. These are so sick. All billet, like built to spec, just super nice. Interior's out, did some fun bodywork stuff, and yeah, hopefully today we're gonna finish the suspension, waiting on hubs to come back from CAD plating, maybe get the car on the ground, finish up fuel and stuff. Oh yeah, we gotta do brakes.
Brake system.
Dump
the motor in it, trans.
Yeah, put the motor.
Mission. And then we got the diff over there. And again, the guys over at ECS, they sent us a wave track LSD unit that we're gonna slap together. And it's coming along.
Yeah. Yeah, this car's gonna be bonkers, dude. We got some seats that are at the upholstery right now. And this is my favorite part of the upholstery. So on E30s, like in order to like compensate for the NA plate, usually there's like a dip right here, but Chris and I both really like how E21s, it's just like straight across, and so like they have like just lights straight across. So we got this like heck blend that goes in here. We painted it all red to match, so not a lot of people are gonna notice it, but the ones that do are gonna really appreciate it. So that's super cool. And they also shaved all the holes for the North American bumpers because we're running Euro chromes. And yeah, dude, just like tons of little stuff like that, paired with like a cool motor and really cool performance parts. This is gonna be a really cool car. cabinet, and when it emerges, it will be brand new! Got it. Good job, guys.
Yeah, you were supposed to run around us, you know?
Good job, dudes.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's about where I wanted it. That's how I saw it going in, so good job, everybody.
Just die.
Let me, check, see if the panel's backwards.
No, what I'm saying is, I mean, I ran them disconnected before.
Well, the bad air temp sensor is pretty cool, right?
Disconnected.
No, run with that.
How much gas was in there? I mean, that should be. Which one? We're pretty much 90%-ish done with James' car. Gotta put the tail lights, give it a quick detail, but pretty much all the mechanical alignment, all that is done. Finished the exhaust system, messed around with the ride height, swapped out wheels back and forth to finally ended up with the setup that we have right now for his daily use. He's gonna have his shiny wheels for shows and whatnot, which we all also already gone through. So I'll just give you a quick rundown. Originally, in the beginning, we were just gonna do an engine swap, a few bits here and there, which it quickly evolved to something much, much more than that. E30 M35 lug, ground control kit that we ended up getting from them. Big brakes, front and rear. We ended up doing powder coated front and rear subframes, trailing arms, reconditioned the undercarriage. We got rid of the spare tire well. Pretty much we did not like I guess it's sort of like a full restoration as far as the undercarriage and drivetrain goes, because we didn't really touch the body. other than the rear valence, the license plate panel, the tail light panel, we modified it. We'll show you guys the tail lights afterwards. Like I said, front, didn't do much in the front. We had already done the Euro bumper conversion, but in the undercarriage, we repaired any surface rust, seam sealed everything, undercoated everything, and obviously, we're not gonna be putting old parts that are dirty or messed up back on it. So we went ahead and replaced everything. Every nut and bolt. We did a late model gas tank conversion. We replaced all the hard lines because at some point somebody had modified or tried to fix the brake line. I guess it was either corroded, blocked, clogged, whatever it happened, somebody had just ran a new line. So we got them a fresh set, 6-speed with our 6-speed trans brace that we make for these, our clutch slave line that we make. We went ahead and put E30 M3 front aluminum control arms on this, E30 M3 rear sway bar, convertible front sway bar, so a 21 and a 14. Z3 rack, and of course the S54. AC, CSF radiator, CSF race oil cooler. We did custom AN lines on this one. Normally, or sometimes we do the factory lines modifying with just short hoses, but we made these all the way from the top. Besides that, everything else on the undercarriage is pretty much how you see. Full custom exhaust as all of our swap cars get. This is full stainless, so I'm getting aluminized. But this one got full stainless, ground control sway bar links, ground control brake cooling duct brackets that they make, which are really sweet. And we also put ground control, I guess the high-rise rear shock mounts, because we are running a very short spring. So that pretty much sums up the bottom in a nutshell. I wish it was as easy doing it than saying it, because it is time consuming, especially replacing all the little bolts, clips, finding everything, replacing it. But you know, I'm very, very satisfied with the way the car came out. And I'll show you guys the engine bay and a couple other things that we did to it. Almost done with the car. I showed you guys the undercarriage. I'm gonna show you a dirty engine bay, which still looks pretty damn good if you ask me. It's just a little dusty. We're doing a little bit of troubleshooting. Our RPM isn't working, so we're troubleshooting that. We're pretty much all done. Adam's modifying something in the back. He's not defacing anything. Daniel just helped me set the ride height a little bit because these are new coilovers. We will be driving it a little bit tonight and tomorrow, and I don't want them to settle midway, so I'm compensating. So I raised the car up a little bit. Little final touches. Obviously, tomorrow they're gonna be shooting the car, doing a whole video, or completing a video. But here you pretty much have the finished product. We went ahead and stuck with shadow line trim around the windows, but we kept the original early model chrome side moldings. And then in the back, it's the early model heck blade for the US style plate. But we modified the rear panel so that it's, most early models, like that M3 right there, it dips down so you can have like a full plate or Euro plate and all that. So we ended up modifying this section of it. And I had my boy David modify the lights so that they all light up and have that filler fit the way it does. Modified the rear lower, cut the spare tire wheel. Now you can see all the beautiful suspension work. But yeah, really close. I'm excited to see this car driving. I'm sick and tired of seeing it in the shop only because I really want to drive it. But let's get to it. I got the goods. Mm-hmm.